UFC 306 is in the books, and it was class. Fair enough, Dana White, mate. You proved us wrong. You proved us wrong. This is what you said before the event.
So my goal in this thing is to be nominated for an Oscar, an Emmy, and a Grammy.
Give it to him. Yeah, give it to him. Because this is class. It is class. I can't lie. My mentality going into the event was I'm not gonna fall for this novelty. Yeah. I didn't know many of the fighters, fighting on the card. It's probably gonna be, a below average event because of how much he's hyped up. But fair enough, he lived up to the hype, mate. All the majority of the fans ended up with eggs on their faces. Yeah, it was a class event, man. I mean, the setting, never seen anything like it. Even watching it at home on the TV, it looked like it was popping out the screen. So fair play to Dana White, man. It was class, great event, and I've got to start keeping my mouth shut from now on because I did the same thing with the fight night, the Cannonier Baraujo fight night. I thought that was gonna be pants, and well, it was class. Yeah, some people had doubts for UFC 300, especially after seeing UFC 299. But turns out UFC 300 was arguably the best card of the year, and this card was also incredible, man. So yeah, Dana White, mate. We need to stop judging Uncle Dana, mate. Yeah, let him cook. But yeah, let's get into the fight. Uh, it was the early prelims. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ari Quilling. Raul did what he had to do. A finish would have been great for him. Opening the card and whatnot. He has a really good chin. His stand up isn't improving at the rate that he probably wants it to improve at. Oracle Lane was landing some good shots. It's a good thing that Rosas has a good chin, like I said. But look, Rosas is still young. He was shaped with the background as well, by the way. Everyone else had things like this, yeah. But Rosas, he had blooming scaffolding in the back. It looked like he was fighting on flipping fight night. It was awful, man. Super cheeky of him to ask for the 50k, right? Super cheeky. And then when you watch the rest of the card, I mean, well, then it was just outright lunacy for for him to ask for the 50k. Well, yeah, look, with Rosas Jr., he said he wanted to retire at 25, but if he's gonna be improving at the rate that he's currently improving at, I think he's gonna have to extend that retirement date. But look, he's still young, and always look forward to watching Rosas Jr. fight. All right, moving on. Edgar Sherez versus Joshua Van. This fight, wow. I mean, this fight was incredible. I mean, if you just want to break it down a little bit, I don't want this to be a breakdown video, but yeah, Sherez just dominated that first round. He was the longer man. He used his kicks and his reach super well. Van just could not get close, couldn't get his range. He was too small, just too short. Even for the flyweight division, Cheers was landing some really good shots, man. Just straight shots down the pipe. Van was really struggling. I thought it was gonna be pretty conclusive just from that first round. But then the second round came along, right? And that second round, probably round of the year, because it was absolutely mental. Van found his range, and he just started landing bombs. I think he initially landed a shot to the body, and Cherries just crumbled, like folded up like a deck chair. Van just started throwing everything he could possibly throw. It was CTE central. And then what does Sherris do? Boom! Yeah? Spinning back fist. He rocked Van. The crowd was going absolutely mental, you know, rightfully so. And I've got to apologize to the crowd, right? Because in my last vid, I said something along the lines of, you know, an atmosphere should be like, it should be like a football stadium atmosphere, you know, where you got people there at the game who look like their children bite other children. You know, I thought this event was gonna be, you know, super like not super quiet, but not as raucous as you know, some of the other events, solely because of the ticket prices. You know, it was like, oh, the working man, you know, he's not able to go to the events anymore and whatnot. But once again, mate, it was proven wrong because the crowd were absolutely electric for every single fight, and yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, it was a great fight. Van getting the win on short notice with no camp after getting KO'd like 2 months ago, and he was getting stronger as the fight went on, which was just incredible. I cannot wait to see him again. And I mean, look at that. Look, Raul Rosas Jr., Red Banner win. Look, Ketlin Souza, everyone, all the winners of a Red Banner win. But just like Joshua Van did not get the recognition he deserved at the press conference in the form of a question. He was not asked a single question. The UFC website have not even given him recognition by giving him a red win banner. Put some respect on Joshua Van. Yeah, and then next, the first performance of the night, Ketlin Souza. I mean, you know, it was the first finish of the night, which is good. You know, hyped up the crowd. These two ladies, they went groin shot for groin shot. Um, yeah, and you know, Ketlin Souza, not long after landing her groin shot, landed a nasty left hook. She dropped Yasmin. She got the rear naked choke, and she just didn't let go until you know, she had Yasmin doing the Undertaker entrance. Yeah, a bit of a tough watch, but great performance by Ketlin Souza. Did she deserve performance of the night? I wish Dana gave out a few more bonuses because a lot of people deserved it. I mean, I think Edgar Shearers and Joshua Van, I think that deserved a fight of the night bonus. Uh, Maybe even a performance bonus for Joshua Van. But yeah, another good fight between Ketlin Souza and Yasmin Jauregui, and a great finish for Ketlin Souza. Moving on to the next fight. Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Ignacio Bahamondes. Wow. Wow. Like, I don't know what Torres was thinking, I'll be honest there. I feel like Torres just refused to learn his lesson this fight. He made the same mistake in the very same round. You know, overextending with that left, and he got dropped. Bahamondes lands a ground and pound. Torres gets back up, and you think after Torres got back up, you know, he'd be thinking, oh, you know, phew, I got away with one there. You know, I got to make sure I don't overextend with that left hand again. What happens? Deja vu. Overextends again, and it was just a identical sequence. You know, identical. Um, Similar to that of Aljo O'Malley, McGregor Ivan Bushinga, McGregor Alvarez. Um, Except, you know, in this fight it happened twice. You know, Bahamondes drops in the second time, and yeah, another first round victory, and he got performance of the night. So the performance of the night bonuses were in back to back fights. Yeah, it was nice to see two early round finishes. So early on in the card, got the fans, you know, gassed up. And yeah, it was a great performance by Bahamondes. He's improving super fast, and it was a great knockout. Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. Irene Aldana had the nastiest cut I think I've ever seen. Right? It was screamish, is the word. That cut represented everything Dana wanted on this card, right? Death, just death. Like, I saw a video where they open up the cut and the flesh was flapping around like a 76-year-old grandma's bingo wings on a night out. It was nasty. I mean, I think Dumont opened her up with that elbow. She kind of just dominated her for the entirety of the fight. But yeah, I mean, Justin Gaethje even came out on Twitter and said he doesn't think he's seen a nastier cut than that. Even watching it during the fight, I'm surprised the ref didn't step in, to have a look at that. I feel like they've stepped in for things, far less severe. But yeah, I hope Dana, heals up quickly. God knows how many stitches that thing is gonna need on it. She's gonna look like flipping Frankenstein, man. It was nasty, nasty, nasty work. But yeah, well done to Norma Dumont. It was a great victory. It was a dominant victory. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. I was looking forward to this fight solely because of the press conference. I feel like a lot of people were. Rodriguez took over the presser, made it his own. This fight was a good fight, another entertaining fight. Look, round by round, Osborne dominated the first. Looked like he was going to get the finish with that triangle. It was locked in for a long time. I feel like maybe he could have done more to secure the victory. Could have pulled that arm across. Could have went for that ankle to stop Rodriguez from posturing up. But, fair play to Rodriguez, for posturing up and getting out. And also, you can't cuss a man's, mum in Spanish in the press conference and then tap out in the very first round when you fight that man. It was never going to happen. The second round, Rodriguez was the one who dominated. The failed guillotine attempt from Osborne created an opportunity for Rodriguez to dominate from top. And then it came down to the third round. And it was tight. I know people are split. I think Osborne outlanded Rodriguez. But I wasn't mad that they gave Rodriguez the win in the end. Even though at the end of that round, it looked like all the shots that he'd thrown from top position didn't land. Yeah, regardless, it was another good fight. And look, they had to give another Mexican victory right after they had that mini drought. And next was Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics. An instant classic. Zellhuber, he came into the fight as if he'd heard that everyone had been saying that he looked like the B-Tech Ryan Garcia. He came in to make a name for himself. And it was a class fight, man. That first round, for me, Ribovics was landing the cleaner shots. He was ripping Zellhuber to the body. He threw great combinations. He was so good at crossing that void and entering the pocket and throwing shots in the pocket. Zellhuber used his range. He had some good kicks, but I don't think he used his range as well as he would have liked to. I think that was one of the keys for him to be able to win the fight. Keeping Ribovics at range. There was like a 8-inch reach advantage on Zellhuber's side. He gave up the range a few times in order to land some elbows on Ribovics, which were successful. I gave Ribovics round 1, Zellhuber round 2. In the second round, Zellhuber had some good knees and kicks to the body. And I just gotta say, I feel like everyone's bored of talking about eye pokes now. And it can be a struggle to blame the fighters at times because, we all understand that they're trying to gauge range. I don't know why the new gloves don't curve the fingers downwards like the Bellator gloves. Yeah, it's just super frustrating, especially because a guy like Ribovics, who's, the shorter fighter, he's got the shorter reach, he's got to cross that void, and it's hard for him to get into the pocket when you've got these in your face, yeah? It decentivizes you from pushing forward because you don't want to get your eye poked out, man, and look like Shara Bullet or Michael Bisping. But yeah, in the third, Zokuba dropped Rubovix. Also landed that eye poke, but after that eye poke, Rubovix, he was an angry man. Yeah, hurt Zokuba. Then he threw 3 million punches, and every single one of those punches was the incorrect choice of punch. All incorrect. He basically bottled the finish, right? He bottled the finish. His arms were completely drained of the energy, and Zelkuba came back, hurt Rubovix as well. It was just absolutely mental. But like, Rubovix came out on top, rightfully so. I think so anyway. I thought Rubovix definitely landed that fight, or won that fight. It was a great fight. It was a worthy fight of the night. And yeah, it was brilliant. And it was at this point, right, once this fight had ended, that I had started writing my apology letter to Dana White to say sorry. Yeah, because I doubted him. Lopez versus Ortega. Lopez is just brilliant, isn't he? He's brilliant. He's a scary man. Super fun to watch. You know, every one of his fights at some point brings you to your feet. Everyone loves the guy, and rightfully so. He's a handsome man with a great mullet and an exciting style. You know, the first round, Lopez cracked Ortega with the right hand, um, which dropped him. But on the way down, cheeky from Lopez, landed a left which connected as well, similar to that of Wilder's knockdown of Fury in their first fight. And Ortega, of course, he lives, right? Because his chin is made of 54 breaks, crazy recovery time. Lopez landed some ground and pound. Ortega had a few failed triangle attempts. It was a great round from Lopez. Definitely won that round. Round two was was quite steady. Ortega got it going. He got that jab going. Lopez was kind of recovering from a mini adrenaline dump in that first round after dropping Ortega and landed some ground and pound. So what he decided to do was eat Ortega's leg for breakfast. Right, he was landing some great calf kicks. He just lit up that calf, and there was some bruising on Ortega's calf, and I can't remember if it was the second or the third round where Lopez landed a calf kick. He dropped Ortega. Ortega was kind of coercing Lopez into his guard, but of course Lopez was gonna keep it on the feet. Ortega started to switch stances. They're going into southpaw, then back into orthodox, then southpaw to kind of protect that leg. In that third round, it showed exactly why everyone loves Diego Lopez, right? I mean, look, you've already won the fight. There's no reason for you to risk the victory. But what does he do? He goes straight hammer time and tees off on Ortega right at the end of the round. Hurts him, lands some great ground and pound again, just like he did in the first. Doesn't get the finish, but puts on a great performance. I think he moves up to third now in the featherweight rankings, taking Ortega's spot. And I've got another video talking about the aftermath of 306 coming out tomorrow, hopefully. We'll be talking about what's next for a few fighters and whatnot, but Lopez is making a strong case for him to be next in line for a title shot. It was a great fight and top performance by Diego Lopez. Alright, the co-main event of this card, Grasso vs Shevchenko. Not really much to say for this fight. It was pretty dominant display from Valentina. Did not expect her to wrestle as much as she did, right, against Grasso. She fell into a lot of submission attempts, but she was ready. It seemed she stuffed pretty much every single attempt. Grasso did not perform to the level she wanted to. Clearly, she did not look good during this fight. With a winner piece and a draw, and the women's flyweight division not having so many great contenders at this point in time, you'd think they'd run it back again. Right? Why not? There aren't any other fights the fans would want to see at that division right now, bar maybe Thug Rose. against one of them. But yeah, it was a dominant display from Shevchenko. Took her down, just beat her up on the ground, landed some nice shots. It was a poor display from Grasso in front of her people on Mexican Independence Day. Yeah, great win for Valentina Shevchenko, and she reclaims her title. And finally, our main event: Sean O'Malley versus Merab Devalishvili. Although everyone's calling him Devalish Willie. Am I pronouncing the name wrong? I don't know. For me, it was domination from Merab. The scorecard tells an entirely different story, right? But with context, I feel like Merab threw that final round with the knowledge that he had won the fight already. There was an odd moment in that first round where Merab was shouting at O'Malley's corner. He was rattled. Yeah, I think Rogan said, "Oh, he might have forgotten his mouthpiece or something," but Merab addressed what actually happened on his Twitter. So he said, wanted to explain also what happened during the fight. When I got O'Malley in the choke, I had 10 seconds and knew I didn't have enough time for a submission, so I decided to show him who the daddy was of this fight and gave his back a few kisses. When the ref touched me, I thought it was break time, so I started walking to my corner, but there was still 3 seconds. He was telling me to stop kissing you. Yeah, that was a funny moment in the fight. And that killed me of laughter. I got up and he was just so happy, walking away, and then he gets blindsided by a few of O'Malley shots. But yeah, back to the fight. I just want to know what O'Malley was doing for 10 to 12 weeks. Because clearly he wasn't working on his takedown defense, right? He was so prone to the takedown. It was so easy for Merab to take him down. O'Malley really had to fight for the center of the octagon. And he did at times, but still not enough. When Merab did back him up, he was going straight for that double leg. O'Malley had Merab up against the cage a few times, and he just did not capitalize. He needed to throw more teeps, more shots down the pipe. We saw in that fifth round that, those teeps, they hurt Merab. He was visibly hurt. And he needed a way to deter Merab from the takedown. That would have been one of the ways to do it. He needed one big shot on that suspect chin of Merab, and he didn't get it. Merab was super comfortable throughout the entirety of the fight. He was taunting. I think O'Malley threw like a roundhouse kick, and Merab did the little, it was class. Kissing O'Malley's back, like we just talked about, while having the guillotine locked in. It was a dominant display, in my opinion. It was just a quintessential wrestler versus striker matchup. Although O'Malley didn't, I guess, strike to the best of his ability. He let himself down. I feel not enough straight shots, not enough pivoting off to an angle, not enough teeps, and not enough bravery, especially when he had Merab up against the fence. But yeah, look, I know a lot of people were very critical of the co-main and the main event, but look, I enjoy both of them. I enjoy all kinds of fights there. Trying to think the last fight that I really didn't enjoy. Maybe Ngannou versus Lewis. Yeah, I'm easy to please. Even though I did criticize Dana White when he put this card together. But yeah, for both fighters, it looks like O'Malley's gonna take a break. I'm gonna have a video on him coming out this week. It's gonna be called something like "Can O'Malley, be the headline of a card without the title?" And in tomorrow's video, I'm going to be talking about what's next for Merab and the aftermath of the fight, because you would think that the next fight is Merab versus Umar, right? But looks like Merab doesn't want it. He doesn't want that fight, mate. With that being said, this is our champion. Yeah? this is the UFC bantamweight champion of the world. It is brilliant, man. He's such a great character. Leading up to the fight, the skits, the promotion that he did, it was top tier. And you look at his record now. I mean, look, those names. Even if you group Marlon Moraes in there, it's just a great resume now. Jose Aldo, a legend of the game, arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. You got Marlon Moraes, he was a super dangerous guy. You got Petr Yan, who is one of my favorite fighters. I still think he's one of the best in that division. You know, you got Henry Cejudo, a legend of the sport too, and now he's got Sean O'Malley on there, who he just absolutely dominated. And I guess that's it for UFC Noche. Not a great night for the Mexicans, right? Raul Rosas Jr. and Ronaldo Rodriguez had to carry. But all in all, it was a great card. And Dana White, I apologize, mate. Yeah, I apologize. I'll never criticize you ever again. Apart from the Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree fight, yeah, because I've got a video coming out on that one as well. But yeah, that's all. Like and subscribe and stay tuned for the video coming out tomorrow and more vids in the future.